Hello, everyone, once again. This is Rob, and welcome back to Media Awareness and another album review, this time of the Tangent to Follow Polaris. Before I get to that, however, a quick reminder that the fundraiser continues. For those of you new to my channel or unaware, I am a disabled individual, and I use a motorized wheelchair slash scooter all day, every day for my independence, and I need your help. My insurance will not cover anything with regard to my scooter, as they view it as a quote luxury item end quote, despite the fact that I am unable to walk whatsoever, in addition to being unable to utilizing any other type of power chair or a standard wheelchair for that matter, only having limited use of one hand. Additionally, I do not have a backup wheelchair or scooter, so if this malfunctions to the point of being unusable, I am a fish out of water. With that stated, below the title of this video in the description, as well as in a separate section below that, you will find a spot fund link. Any and all help is welcome. I cannot stress that enough. Any contributions to the spot fund that come in go directly towards the acquisition of the parts to refurbish my existing scooter, in addition to paying the train technicians to install these parts and make sure that my scooter is operating at its optimum capacity. I pride myself on my independence and I thrive on my independence. And the last thing I want to do is be completely dependent upon people 24/7 for my level of care when I am perfectly capable of doing a vast majority of my daily tasks on my own. With all of that stated, my scooter is part of that independence, and I really need it to be continually operational. So any and all help, as stated, is welcome and really appreciated. I do want to extend the gracious thanks to those who have contributed thus far, in addition to those who plan on contributing, as your contributions have and will make a world of difference in my life. Thank you all. I love you all. On with this album review. So this is a review of the Tangent to Follow Polaris, aka Tangent for One, and I will get to that momentarily as to why it was initially called that. But I wanted to really do this review now. It is mid-July at the moment. This album came out a couple months ago, and I was holding off on doing this review until I had the actual physical copy of the album in hand. I have yet to do so. My copy of the album was apparently lost in the mail, and a replacement copy has yet to arrive. With that being stated, I didn't want to wait any longer in terms of getting this review to all of you out there as the clock is ticking and history is occurring all around us at the moment. And given the historic nature of what's going on in the world itself, especially here in the United States, it seemed only proper to present such a historic album to you all at this time. Now you may be asking yourself, why is this album historic? Well, it is the first Tangent album that Andy Tillotson has performed every instrument on himself. Everything that you hear on this album is Andy. From the incredible keyboard work that is always synonymous with the Tangent, incredible vocals that Andy always offers to us with each Tangent release. In addition to that, we get Andy performing on guitar, bass guitar, drums, woodwinds. It is a phenomenal exhibition of talent, and I'm just blown away, and I have been from day one. Having early access to this material, I've been listening to it since prior to the actual release of the album, and sort of gathering my thoughts on what what I felt on each track and what I felt about the album as a whole. And if you didn't know any better, you would swear that it is a whole band performing this material. And he creates such a convincing illusion for us, the listener, that this is a band effort, that it does sound like an entire band on every single track. There isn't one moment where you actually stop and think to yourself, well, this must be just one guy. It is not even a question. It's always, this is a band. And that was Andy's goal because he wanted to make a Tangent album that was the Tangent, not a solo Andy album. And he certainly did the Tangent name itself a great deal of respect with this album in particular. And it was called initially Tangent for one, as it was just to Andy working on this himself. Um, the the album title "To Follow Polaris" is of course a reference to the North Sky, the North Star, and the first song on the album is called "The North Sky." I'll get to the track listing here momentarily, but I wanted to just say a few more things about the writing and about the actual production and performances that Andy gives us on this album because they are just phenomenal. The production is just superb. It is really convincing performance that you're getting in terms of all the instrumentation and the mixing. It makes it so believable that you're hearing an entire band when you're just hearing one man perform. And if this were any other genre of music, it would just be something to write off. But like I said, this is progressive rock, progressive fusion, um, and it is not easy at all. And he also learned how to play bass guitar for this album. He taught himself bass guitar, so it's pretty impressive when you think of that in terms of the Tangent catalog itself. If you're not familiar with the Tangent, I recommend listening to them. And I recommend checking out some of the really exquisite bass guitar work in the past and listen to this album because it is unquestionable the Tangent. And he does a phenomenal job at giving us the Tangent in full force by himself. And I think that is a commendable effort and one that he definitely achieved wholeheartedly. So I'm going to go through the track listing here. I'm going to give my little thoughts on each track themselves, and then afterwards I'll give them some final thoughts on this album. So we start the album out with the first single from the album, "The North Sky." And this song is just the perfect opening track for this album. It sets the stage and it gives you that bright light that really is something to shoot for in life itself. And it's sort of like the focal point of the album itself in terms of giving us this light in the darkness that we're really currently living through and just came out of with the pandemic in the recent past. There's been a lot going on, and The North Sky is the perfect opening track for this album itself. And like I said, it illustrates, to me at least, the bright light that we should all follow, and that is sort of a beacon in the darkness for us. The second song is titled "A Light in the Darkness," and this is a reference to social media, and this is something that I think we all can relate to, at least at this point in time in our lives. And, that is really hoping and aspiring to have a like on our statuses on whatever platform, whatever social media outlet we use. We need that validation, that approval, or disapproval for that matter. Anything at all is something that we all seem to really want. It's some kind of validation that someone saw or read our post or watched our video, and it's really a telling song that really shows the highs and lows of that way of thinking and that mindset that we're all in right now in this new age of social media and all of these different platforms being available to us as users of computers and various online software, phones, etc. We are all interconnected, yet we're all disconnected at the same time. And there's a certain uh, really unique quality in that way of thinking because we are detached in a way from each other more so than ever, and at the same time we're all so connected. So it's a paradox, but it is a paradox that we are living in and one that is our day and age. So it's something that we all need to really accept and just hope that we can get through together. Track 3 is The Fine Line. And The Fine Line was another single that I covered on my channel. And this song in particular, it really, really has a sort of Steely Dan groove to it, in my opinion. But it also has a lot of really unpredictable time changes and different elements that Andy throws in musically that really makes it a more wide ranging musical piece. Lyrically, it has a lot of political overtones in terms of sort of, really uh, watching where you step, watching conversation, dialogue with others, with, you know, things online, different discourses that are going on. It's really a piece that I think is crucial and it has a lot to say about our lives at this point in time globally. The fourth song on this album is an epic. It lacks in roughly 20 some odd minutes. It is entitled The Anachronism, excuse me. And it is a phenomenal song, or piece, I should say. It is definitely a track that takes you on a musical journey into these various landscapes and different musical palettes, while lyrically it paints a picture of the global stage at this point in time, in my opinion, and the way things are looking on a global scale and what we as humanity have come to. And I really feel like it is a poignant piece for our day and age. That is followed by track 5, which is titled The Single, which was also a single, coincidentally. And the single is it's a great song. It really is a great song. And it focuses on, I think, the musical aspects of the world today and how music is received, how it's perceived, and how it is uh, presented to us, the fans. And I think it is a great song. Musically, it has an incredible diversity, and it is just a phenomenal achievement. Now, there are two bonus tracks that I was privy to with my advanced version, and we have the single edit of The North Sky, which is definitely something that you want to have, because, in my opinion, if you want to give the average listener, let's say, a taste of the tangent, and they are not accustomed to progressive rock or epics for that nature, you can put this thing on of the North Sky, and it's more digestible as far as a piece of music in terms of listening as opposed to the actual album version. Um, so it's a lot easier, and if you just want to maybe make a mix disc for those of you like myself who still do that sort of thing, you might want to put that on there instead of the album version. I would still put the album version on myself, but that's just me. And we have the final bonus, which is Tea at Betty's. Now, this is a song that not a lot of people have really spoke of much, and I feel like it needs a little more attention. So I want to really give it to this right now. Tea at Betty's is a simulated jam. And what I mean by that is because it's just Andy on this album himself, he is going through with each instrument and he is illustrating a jam for us. However, it's a well thought out and very well planned musical arrangement to sound like a band jamming. And it works so well. It is just so convincing that you are hearing an entire band. This song, especially, really, really does it for me on that level of really giving the illusion of an entire band performing because it's just so much like an actual jam that you would swear that you were listening to an actual band jamming. So there you have the Tangent track listing for To Follow Polaris, aka Tangent for One. And this album has an incredible array of musical excellence from Andy on all levels. He does an amazing job vocally, which he always does. His keyboard work, as I stated, is unparalleled. His work on guitar is right on the money, and of course, his work with the bass guitar is also phenomenal. And given that that is a new instrument for him, his drumming is also precise and without question phenomenal. And the woodwinds on this album are also really to be commended as well because they really sound like a convincing exhibition of this music itself and what the Tangent typically brings to us as a band and an album. And this album is one of the best Tangent albums I've ever heard. And I think it's really an achievement for Andy on so many levels. But most importantly, creating a progressive rock album himself for us, the fans, that sounds convincingly like an entire band giving us this music. It is phenomenal, and I am just beyond impressed. I cannot wait to have my copy of this album in my hands and in my collection. And like I said, I'm still waiting on my replacement, but when that arrives, I will happily do a review of the packaging if you guys would like that. Otherwise, you will probably see this album on the top 10 for 2024 on New Year's Eve because this album is definitely going to be on my top 10. I can say that without a doubt. It is beyond impressive and on all levels, musically, lyrically, production wise, it is the Tangent. And there is no question that this album lives up to the Tangent name and the Tangent reputation. And I would not even hesitate on purchasing this if I were you. You can stream it on Spotify as well as other platforms. However, if you can get your hands on this, do yourself a favor and do so. You will not be sorry. This album has everything to offer. It is available, of course, from Inside Out Music, your home for the best in progressive rock and progressive metal. And Inside Out, of course, is always bringing us some incredible music, and this is no exception. The Tangent to Follow Polaris, currently available wherever music is sold, and if it's not available, you can have it ordered. It is definitely an album that is at the top of its game. It is an album that has integrity. It has incredible musicianship, incredible lyrics, incredible performances by one man. One man. And he makes it sound like you are hearing an entire band. And it is just amazing. So do yourself a favor. Pick up the Tangent to Follow Polaris today. This is Rob with Media Awareness, and I hope you really enjoyed this review of the Tangent to Follow Polaris, and I hope that you all pick up your copy today. And hopefully I will have my replacement copy soon, so I can show that off as well. But in the meantime, I hope you all have a wonderful morning, noon, or night, wherever you are. Take care. Bye.